What's up, guys? Welcome to the Waka Motorsports. Today, a little bit of an update video. Let's jump right in. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get this out of the way. If you can, hit like, hit subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Here is the race Civic. Where we left off last video is the car doesn't start. Update on that. The car still doesn't start. We're gonna have the mad scientist kind of update everybody on where we're at now with all the little pieces.
So one of the first things we found out was the previous owner changed the passenger side motor mount and trans mount, the two of them. However, he didn't touch the driver's side. So we changed the driver's side upper mount, and we had a little bit of a hard time with the lower mount, but little modifications, we got it. This was also the bracket that held the air conditioning compressor on, and the belt was right here. And the tensioner was over here, all gone. The condenser coils were right here. They're no longer on, all gone.
How about that bolt?
What's that? Oh yeah. So we found out that the headers were on here. One of the bolts in the back was tight. The other one in the back was a little loose, and this one was completely stripped out. After removing it, we put a new stainless steel nut and bolt on it. It's nice and tight. The exhaust system is tight going back. We also put some brand new polyurethane shifter linkage bushings in.
That's right.
However,
Still got some more to do on the shifter.
yes. And now I'm in the interior of the car,
Let's move to the interior.
removing the rest of the air conditioning system.
Oh boy.
I believe the dashboard's gonna have to come out for the roll cage to go in.
Put some of it back around the roll cage though.
No, I don't know if we're gonna be able to.
So that's where we're at right now with the build. We're gonna finish taking out the AC and heater core over here today. Once that's done, we'll see what else we can get accomplished. We do have a new fuel pump. Hopefully we're able to test that out and try that out today. Fingers crossed. Here we go.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Come on over here.
I'm good.
Okay. Just put the key on. We getting the clicking?
Nothing. Doesn't seem to have any power.
Oh shit.
All right, so here is where we start taking apart the air conditioner and basically the rest of the dashboard. In order to get the air conditioning unit out, it looked like we were going to need to take apart the dashboard anyway. So we started by taking the air conditioner apart, and that led us to the rest of this mess. After a bunch of bolts all over the place, we were able to get the top of the dashboard along with the dashboard base out of the car. While we were doing this, we found a bunch of issues with some wires that had either been spliced incorrectly or that were flat out just not connected. We kind of thought that might lead us to our non-starting issue, but here we actually get the dashboard out of the car. I disconnect the top of the dashboard from the base. That you can see here. That's the top of the dashboard. I'd like to reuse this in the car. think it'll look cool. On top of being functional, keeping off the reflection and giving us a place to mount. Here are some of the wires that were not connected. These are everywhere in the wiring harness. One of the previous owners apparently spliced into some of this stuff, just left it open. We have a lot of homework to do. But we go back into the car, pulling out this huge monstrosity. It took a little while. We actually ended up cutting a couple of the pipes in the engine bay, but we got it out, which left us with a bare interior. Here's some of the sound deadening we had to pull out. It was not fun. You can see the mad scientist kind of cutting it as we go. He had the driver's side. I was doing the passenger side. Tedious, but it needed to be done. Can't have any of this sound deadening installation in the car when we go racing. Look at all that. That's crazy. Just weighs you down, and it's a fire hazard. Once we got all the insulation out, the plan was to put the dashboard base back in the car. The steering column actually attaches to this, so we kind of needed it anyway. There is a thought of cutting this in half right down the middle, not using the passenger side and just using this to support the steering column. I don't know what our end product is going to be, but I'd like to keep the dashboard, and I think we need this base to do it. It does add a little weight, but this isn't F1. A couple pounds here and there is not the end of the world. I was finally able to get the steering column back up, which led me to the wiring harness. All these things needed to be plugged back in after a few loose ends were spliced. Some repairs had been made, and plugging everything back in was just going to be a little bit of a hassle. You get hungry working on these cars, and it doesn't hurt that your partner that you're working with is your dad. He's able to whip up a nice little sandwich and a brewski. So here we get started on the tow setup. We need to go get the roll cage measured. And in order to do that, we have to go down to S&W in Pennsylvania. But the car doesn't start. So we are going to try and make some custom tow setup the mad scientist has developed. We're going to have to tap into the front crash bar, which hopefully holds up and we can tow this thing around. Right now we're kind of trying to measure both sides to find the center, make sure the alignment's kind of correct at the same time. And we're gonna tap into the crash bar. Now, we had to kind of come up with something unique here. We don't have a trailer. We don't really have any way to tow this car.
Middle of the plate, yeah.
So the theory is we attach this rig to the front crash bar, and we can theoretically take the front bumper on and off while this all stays attached. And we can tow it down to the track, and we can tow it home. There are some downsides, like if the front of the car is damaged and we can't use the tow strap, kind of SOL. But this is where we're at for now. We really just need to get the car towed to S&W for the cage fitting. So this is our attempt at making a custom tow rig.
this piece right here. We're gonna tap it. Not too hard, but tap it. Again. Come on.
There was a lot that went into trying to get the front crash bar kind of evened out. But as you'll see in a second, this rig looks promising. Here is the toe setup, all finished. Well, mostly finished, put together. You kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like and how we're going to tow. We ended up putting some rear lights on the back so we could trailer it. This will hook up to the truck, so we have a brake light on the rear as we tow. That's pretty much it for today's video. Short and sweet. If you guys can, hit like, hit subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.
And a huge shout out to Attention to Detail Professional Cleaning for sponsoring this episode.
Really starting to think that this whole Lemon's race car thing was a bad idea.
This relay is coming out. The heater motor relay comes out. Cooling fan relay, that's this one. That stays in. The clutch relay, that's this one. That comes out. That's for the air conditioner. We don't even have that anymore. And the condenser fan, that's attached to the condenser.
Nope.
That comes out because none of that's there anymore.
I don't even know what else we're going to do.